In today's session also, we are going to discuss about import sets, guys. Okay. Well, guys, yesterday we were discussing about on for and insert transform script, right? Okay. We'll go to the transform maps. Okay. So in the transform map, we have created an on for and insert a transform script, right? I tried it in my personal developer instance. Okay. The event is getting triggered, but the script is not running. The script is not running because in my personal developer instance, the event is not processed. If you go to the event log, okay, this event is not processed. I manually kept it in process state. It was in the ready state. You can see all these are in ready state. But in your personal developer instance, you can see this is in the processed state. When it is processed, you can actually the script will be executed. This on for and insert script will be executed. Not on for and insert script, script action script. Getting my point? Yesterday, let me load the data first. Let me go to users. Okay. Now I am loading the data. Once the load the data, and what happens? Data will be loaded to the temporary table, and transform map will run. And in the choice action, create we have selected, right? Because of choice action, a new user record will be created. This new user record is created. Okay. Once this is created, this on for and transform script will run, and it will fire the event. You can see this line will actually fire the event. Once the event is fired, you can see that event name here. Just now event is fired. You can see still it is in the ready state. So it should be processed. So once it is processed, then the script action script will be running. Once the script action script is running, this user record will be updated. Okay, this is not actually working in my personal developer instance, but I hope it will work in your personal developer instance. Okay, clear, right? Hmm? Okay. So similarly, on choice will run, on choice create will run because in the choices, I'm actually, let me create a on choice transform script. Okay. Just saving this one. This name is actually a transform script variable that is available in the on choice create and on foreign insert. Name is a transform script variable. Value is a transform script variable. Source is a transform script variable. Okay. Name means which field name is that? And which field name you are actually creating a choice. And which field you are creating the choice? State field. Okay. Value means what is that value? What is the choice value? So in the state field, let me go to the state field here. I am providing hello state here. Hello state. Hello state is not there in ServiceNow. And in the choice action, we'll go to the transform map. State field. In the choice action, choice action create is selected. Okay. Okay. Now I am going to load this data now. Hello choice I am actually passing. This choice is not there in ServiceNow. It will create a new choice. Then on choice create transform script will run. This on choice create a transform script will run. And this event will be fired. Let me load the data again here. Okay, we will see if a new choice is created or not. What is that finance case number? This one, right? Where is the state field? It is showing undefined. Is it showing it should is it showing undefined? It should show hello, right? We are passing hello here. We are passing hello. Okay, we will see if a new choice is hello choice is created. We will see on choice create transform script is triggered or not. In the on choice create transform script, we are actually firing this event. We are firing this event. If this event is triggered or not, we will check it in the event log. If this event is triggered, that means on choice transform script has run 1 minute ago. Hello choice. This transform script has run. So when a new choice is created because of choice action create, on choice create transform script will run. Okay. So this one, hello one also has run. Okay. Okay. Now what I am doing is I am going to create on reject a transform script. On reject. In the on reject, there is no value available. I'm just passing reject. That's it. Okay. I'm just creating a on reject transform script. In the what is this? On reject transform script will run. Load data. In the state field, we'll select the choice action as reject, guys. Okay. Reject and on reject transform script. Okay. Now I am going to create a some random. I am going to provide some random value here in the state field. I am giving 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 as a choice value. This is not there. This choice is not there in service. Because of this value, as we have selected choice action as reject, total row transformation will be rejected. If the total row transformation is rejected, on reject transform script will run. I am going to load the data again. Okay. We will see we will see on rejected transform script has run or not. So check if the event is fired or not, we have to check. We'll go to the event logs. You can see reject. On rejected transform script has run. Likewise, there are actually 7 type of transform scripts. On start,
on start, on complete, on before, on after, on choice create, on foreign insert, on reject. So I told you, on start will run before beginning of the transform map, that runs only one time. On complete will run at the end of the transform map, it will run only one time. On before will run before each row transformation. On after will run after each row transformation. On foreign insert will run whenever a new record is created because of the choice action create. On choice create will run because of the new choice creation because of the choice action create. On reject will run because of the choice action reject. If the row transformation is rejected, on reject transform script will run. Okay, clear, right? So in the each transform script, we have transform script variables. So you can actually go to the you can actually find those variable transform script variable details in the ServiceNow official documentation. Okay, clear, right? So if you understand about all these things, in the transform map, you have these things. If you inactivate this one, the transforms map will won't work. Won't work. Run business tools, guys. First of all, you load the data. You load the data. First, data will be loaded into the temporary table. Then trans will run. Transform scripts will run, and finally the data will be stored into the target table. So on the target table, we have business tools, right? In the finance case table, we created the business tools, right? Those business rules should run means you have to check this checkbox. On the target table, right? In the finance case table, we have created business rules. Attachment is mandatory. If those business rules should run means you will check this checkbox. If this checkbox is unchecked, those business rules will not run. Okay, enforce mandatory fields. So guys, in the target table, if there are any mandatory fields, so you can just keep all fields. So that means from the source, all the mandatory field values should come. So only mapped fields. In the mapping fields, there should be some mandatory fields, right? In the mapped fields, there will be some mandatory fields. In the mapped fields, if there are any mandatory fields, those values are coming or not, you can check it using only mapped fields. No means you cannot check. Copy empty field values. Guys, if you just what I am doing is I am just making all the short description values as empty. I am just making all the short description values as empty. So these empty values, we made it as empty, right? These empty values will not be updated in ServiceNow. Okay, I'll show you. I'm going to load the data now. Okay. So short description, we made it as empty, right? In ServiceNow also it should make it as empty, right? So by default, ServiceNow will not copy the empty values, guys. Okay. Now you go to the transform history. It has updated. But if you see the finance cases, short descriptions are still same values. Short descriptions, Short descriptions are coming as undefined. Why these are coming as undefined? Because in the short description we wrote the script, right? So here we wrote the script, right? Here it is coming as empty. Empty dot two uppercase it is doing. That is why it is giving undefined. I am removing this one. I am mapping it using short description. Now I am going to load the data now again. We'll go to the transfer import set. We'll go to the finance cases. You see here short descriptions are updated. Short descriptions are updated as empty or not. We will see here. Still on. So guys, here to make you even more clear, these empty values will not be copied, guys, by default. If you want to copy these empty values, you have to check this copy empty values. Okay. Now you will see finance cases will become empty because we have checked copy empty fields. Short description has become empty. Only because we have checked fields here, copy empty fields here, empty values are copied. By default, it won't copy. Okay. Guys, in the what is the coalesce field here? What is the coalesce field? Number is the coalesce field. It will, if this number is there, it will update the record. If this number is not there, it will create the record. What about if the number itself is not there? In the source itself, the number is not there. In the source itself, the number is not there. If the number is there, it will check if the number is there or not in ServiceNow target table. If the number itself is not there in the source, okay. So here you can see create a new record on empty coalesce field values. Create a new record on empty coalesce fields. So now when I check this checkbox, because this is an empty coalesce field value, right? This is an empty coalesce field. So when I load this data, a new record will be created for this particular record. Okay. Now you can see here a new record would have been created. Two new records are created. With the empty coalesce fields, we have to create a new record is what we have checked here. Create new record and empty coalesce fields. Okay. Guys, again, we can create multiple transform maps between same source table and same target table. And you can give the order number here. You can create multiple transform maps between same source table and same target table. Okay. Order number you can give it here. Which one should run first and all? When we are loading the data here, submit this one, run transform. You can see here, you are able to see only one transform map. Run in order. Select maps, run in order. If you give order 100, first this will run. After that, second will run. Okay. Then you can actually click on run transform here. Once you click on transform, you will be able to see import set, transform history, import log. That's all actually about import sets, guys. Okay. Now we have used Excel sheet to load the data into ServiceNow. We have only used Excel sheet to load the data into ServiceNow. Okay. Data can be anywhere, not only in the Excel sheet. Data can be, let us say, this Excel sheet can be somewhere in the Linux server. So this Excel sheet is in my local computer, right? In my computer, this Excel sheet is there. Let us assume this Excel sheet is there in my local computer. This Excel sheet is there in the server. Okay. So you have to get that file from the server and you have to upload that data into temporary table. Now what I have done, I have uploaded file from my local computer to ServiceNow. Let us assume my file is not there in my local computer, my file is there in Linux server. From the Linux server, I have to pull that file, I have to upload that into the ServiceNow temporary table. Okay. Let us assume this Excel sheet is not there in my local computer, this Excel sheet is there in the SQL server. So that means I have to connect to the SQL server from ServiceNow. From that SQL server, I have to load that Excel sheet into the some temporary table, then run the transform app. That means data can be anywhere. from different sources. Let us say if the data is in the Linux server, if the data is in the SQL server, if the data is there in the Windows server, it can be anywhere. The file can be anywhere. ServiceNow, from ServiceNow, you have to connect to those servers. From that server, so let us say in my computer, in my laptop, the Excel sheet is there in the under desktop. Under desktop, this is the path. Similarly, in the server also, where is that file located? That path you can provide there. Okay. If the file, see guys, Linux server, SQL server, Windows server, these are actually called data sources. If your file is there in these servers, these are actually data sources. Now, the Excel file is there in my local computer, right? Hmm? But file will be there in the Linux server, or SQL server, or Windows server. So ServiceNow has to connect to those servers and locate the path. Windows, let us say Windows server, downloads folder. In the downloads folder, table data. In the table data, finance cases. So we have to connect to the server and we have to locate the path and we have to pick file. That file we have to upload into ServiceNow, into the temporary table. Once it is uploaded into the temporary table, transform maps will run. Once the transform map has run, transform scripts will run. And finally, the data will be transformed to the ServiceNow target table. Those are called data sources, guys. Now we are going to discuss about data sources. Just type data sources here. Okay. Well, here this file is also a data source. You underscore finance case dot xls uploaded. This is actually a data source. My computer is also a data source. From my computer, I uploaded the Excel sheet data. You can see you underscore finance underscore case dot xls uploaded file type Excel sheet. Okay. This is one data type. Whatever we have done is a data type. If I open this data type, okay, if I open this data type, you can see this is our temporary table name. This is our temporary table name. Sheet number 1, header row 1. If I scroll down, you can see the transform map that we created here. You are able to see the transform map that we created here, guys. Okay. Clear, right? This is also a data source. Okay, now I am going to create a new data source here. Okay. So let us assume my file is there. My file is there in the somewhere in the Linux server. Okay. My finance case data load. Okay. So I'm here. If you provide a name here, it will create a temporary table. In the temporary table, data will be stored. Okay. Temp finance case table. Okay. File. I am selecting file here. Which type of file is that? Excel sheet. Excel sheet or CSV or custom or JSON or XML file. Excel sheet. In the Excel sheet, this is sheet number 1, guys. This is sheet number 1, header row 1. Sheet number 1, header row 1. Okay. File retrieval method, attachment. Attachment means from your local computer, you will upload it. So I am using FTP. FTP means file retrieval, file transfer protocol. FTP stands for file transfer protocol. So server name. Okay. So let us say this is a server, guys. Hmm? Username, password, demo. So now I logged into this particular server. Okay. In under this is actually download folder. Under this download folder, there is a file. This file I have to pick. I have to connect to this server under download file. Under download path, I have to pick up the server name. I'm just copying the name of the file. Username demo, password demo slash download slash the file name. This is the path, the server name. Okay. ServiceNow will connect to the server using these credentials. This is the path. There file it will locate the file. Once the file is located, whatever the content that is there in that file will be imported into this temporary table. Will be imported into this temporary table. Okay. So once data is imported into this temporary table, the transform map will run. You have to create a transform map between temporary table and target table. So here the target table I am actually selecting here as finance case table. Okay. You have to do the field mapping. You have to apply the queries. You have to write the transform script from there onwards. You know the process. Now this time what we have done, we have created a data source instead of attaching a file. Instead of uploading a file, what we have done, we have actually used a data source. This data source will connect to this particular server, and this is the path. This is the username and the password. It will connect to that server, and it will actually upload this Excel. Whatever the data is there in this file, that will be uploaded into this temporary table. Once the data is loaded into this temporary table, okay, so the transform map will run. Once the transform map has run, transform scripts will run. Finally, data will be loaded into the target table. Okay. So you have different type of file transfer protocols, guys. Okay, HTTP, Hypertext Transfer Protocol, HTTPS, Hypertext Transfer Protocol secured. So SCP, SFTP, these are file transfer protocols. Okay, SFTP, SFTP, Secure File Transfer Protocol. Okay, SCP. secure copy protocol. Okay, these are actually the file retrieval methods. If the files are there somewhere in the servers. So you have actually different type of data source, JDBC, Java database connectivity. This is used to connect to the SQL server. You have to provide the mid server, you have to provide the format, MySQL, you have to provide the database name, database port. Client will provide all these details. Password, server name, query, SQL query, you have to write it. If you want to write a specific query, you can write the specific SQL query here. You have to provide all these details. So that means once it has connected to the database, and from the database it will pull the details and it will store the details into the temporary table. Okay, guys, I don't have any data source connection details. I don't have any data source connection details. If I have that, I would have connected to the data source and I would have pulled the details from the data source and I would have uploaded into the temporary table. Okay. So this is actually a Java database connectivity, LDAP, lightweight access directory protocol. So LDAP means lightweight directory access protocol. Lightweight directory access protocol. So here using this LDAP, okay, using this LDAP, we can get employee details, group details. I told you right in the beginning, users records will be created automatically. We won't be creating user accounts manually. So using this data source, it will pull user details. It will pull user details from LDAP. LDAP means lightweight directory access protocol. Okay, your details will be stored in the LDAP server. LDAP is a server. In that server, your user details and group details are stored. And ServiceNow will connect to this LDAP server. It will pull user details and group details and it will store it into the temporary table. You can see system LDAP. Under system LDAP, we have data sources here. So these are actually LDAP data sources. Okay. So in the LDAP data sources, you can see here LDAP import. LDAP target is users. LDAP groups. Okay. LDAP target is groups. Okay. So these are actually, you can actually pull the user details and group details from the LDAP server. You can load it in the temporary table. From the temporary table, you can run the transform map and you can load the data into target table. Okay. Okay. Well, here from all these data sources, you will pull the data from external source to ServiceNow temporary tables, then transform apps, then all these are actually data sources, guys. File is actually a data source. JDBC is a data source. LDAP is a data source. OIDC, OpenID connectivity, REST, and custom load by script. Okay. Okay. Now we understand that data sources will pull the data from external system to ServiceNow temporary tables and it will run the transform map. First we understand how do we load the Excel sheet data. Now we understand how do we load the data source data. Okay. Now it comes again scheduled data loads, scheduled data imports. That means daily, daily, okay, I have to pull the file from Linux server daily. Remember, daily I have to pull the file from Linux server. I have to load the data into temporary table. Transform map should run, transform script should run, and load it should load the data. So those are actually called scheduled data imports. Scheduled data imports. Scheduled imports. Okay, these are like scheduled jobs, guys. These are like scheduled jobs. Okay. So here you will select the data source that you created. We created one data source, right? Finance case data load from the FTP server. Okay, we created a data import daily, daily. Okay. So what happens? This job will run daily. It will actually trigger the data source. This data source will connect to the FTP server. From that server, it will locate the file. It will actually upload that file into ServiceNow. It will load the data into temporary table, and it will run the transform map. It will upload the data into target tables. So this is scheduled data import. So in the scheduled data import, we have selected the data source. So this data source, what it does, guys, it will connect to the server, and it will locate the path. In that path, it will pick up. Sorry, guys, sorted. Okay. So now this data source will actually connect to the FTP server. This data source will connect to the FTP server. File will be loaded to the temporary table. So this will happen daily because we are scheduling it. Okay. Guys, here we have execute pre-import script, execute post-import scripts available. Execute pre-import script, execute post-import scripts. In the scheduled data import, Okay, in the scheduled data import, we can see execute pre-import scripts, execute post-import script. So in this, there is a object called data source object. Data source object will have access to this particular record. Data source object will have access to this particular record. So in this record, if you want to change the file path, daily I want to change the file path. So we have some file path, right? This is the file path that we have given here. This file path I want to change. Okay. Execute before the import set happen. Script to run before the data imports visible if only execute pre-import script. You can see there is a cancel variable. Okay, set the object to true to stop the import action. Okay, we have import set. We have data source object. Glide record of the data source to be used for the scheduled import. So we have total three variables available: cancel, import set, and data source. Okay, if you want to cancel the data load, you can just mention, write the condition, write the condition cancel is equal to true, so that the data load will be cancelled. Okay, so you have import set object, you have import set object, you have data source object. You can use them in the scripting, guys. That is what it is mentioned here. What is mentioned here? Set this object to true to start the import action. Use the prescript field to evaluate the conditions of the import and determine whether to cancel the import process. To cancel the import process, use the following call. Okay, cancel is equal to true. And get the glide record object for the new import set. So this variable allows you to query the following columns from the import set table. Okay, state table name. So if you want to get the import set number, you can use import set underscore import underscore set dot number. And you have data source object. So in the data source, if you want to change the file path, okay. So what is the file path name? Okay, data source data underscores dot file path is equal to, you can give a different path here. Data underscore source dot file underscore path is equal to, you can give the path here, data source dot update. It will update the data source every time. Okay, so likewise you can actually write a um, pre execute pre import script, execute post import scripts, guys. Okay, and this condition you all know, we discussed already about this condition in the scheduled jobs. Okay, So here, if you want to import the data from external system to ServiceNow on scheduled basis, if you want to import the data from external system to ServiceNow on scheduled basis, you will first create a data source, then you will create a scheduled data import. Okay. You will create a data source, you will create a transform map, you will map the field mapping, you will apply the queries, you will write the transform scripts, you will apply all these things, you will create a data source. The data source you will schedule it using scheduled data import. And when you are actually scheduling it, you can write the conditions, you can write execute pre-import script. In the pre-import scripts, you have actually three variables available: cancel, import set, and data source. Here also you have cancel, import set, data source objects are available. Okay. So that's all actually about import sets, guys. Hmm? We'll be discussing um, catalog items from tomorrow onwards. Okay. So any questions from anyone, guys?